is the circle of life, son. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm still doing one of my awesome movie reviews. And yes, as you saw from the title and thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be reviewing and watching all 3 Lion King movies in a row for 3 days straight. Starting with the first ever Lion King movie called, well, The Lion King. Now, if any of you are like old school Disney fans, especially Brian Hall, which shout outs to him by the way, I assume you might have heard of this movie before, as well as the other 2 films. But just in case you want to know what this movie is all about, which to be fair I wouldn't blame you guys, from the magnificent musical opening over breathtaking African visitors to its rip-roaring emotional changed climax, The Lion King reigns supreme as animation's greatest crowning achievement, set amid the majestic beauty of the Serengeti, Disney's epic coming-of-age saga tells the love between a proud ruler, Mufasa, and a son, Simba, a naive and curious cub who just can't wait to be king. Out from the shadows prowls Simba's envious Uncle Scar and his hyena henchmen. Their scheming for the throne leads to tragedy, and Simba is exiled from the kingdom he should rightfully rule. Befriended a warm-hearted warthog named Pumbaa and his maniac meerkat companion Timon, Simba forgets his regal responsibilities and adopts the carefree lifestyle of Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase! Hakuna Matata, ain't no pies free. Okay, I'll stop singing before this video gets a copyright strike. But King Rafiki, a wise mystic baboon, helps him to reclaim his true destiny in the circle of life. With a #1 hit soundtrack featuring songs by Elton John and Academy Award-winning lyricist Tim Rice, and the score by Hans Zimmer, and the greatest cast of voiceover stars ever assembled, The Lion King triumphs the animation described by the New York Daily News as no less than perfection. Stunning! Well, the description of the VHS tape wasn't wrong, because The Lion King is still phenomenal. It has great writing, fantastic characters, phenomenal music, a great story with a beginning, middle, and end, and it's the battle to the throne. Now, not gonna lie, I do remember watching this movie on DVD like a long time ago. So I was sort of familiar with the movie in general. But I'm actually glad I got a chance to revisit this again for the first time in who knows how long. And no, this technically doesn't count as a revisit edition review. Just thought I'd point that out in case you guys assumed it was. Okay, to be fair, it wouldn't make sense, because if I was going to do a revisit edition review of this movie, I probably would have done review this the first time around. So forget what I said. Man, I can still see why this continues to be a very phenomenal movie to this day. especially with all the characters because they are quite interesting. You got Simba, a naive and curious lion, who actually wants to, who actually might be curious about certain things. And thankfully, he has his father along to guide him through his destiny on on how to become the king of Pride Rock. But let's just say that Simba's mischievous Uncle Scar has other plans of his own to take control of Pride Rock himself by killing his own brother and trying to exile his own nephew. I mean, jeez. Talking about playing favorites, how jealous and cruel can Scar get? If you guys have seen the movie yourselves, whether you saw it in theaters, on a VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray copy of this movie, saw it on TV, saw various clips of it on YouTube, or other people on YouTube reviewing this movie themselves, you pretty much know what I mean about how cruel Scar can get. And he doesn't even do it alone. He even has his hyena henchmen to help out. Shenzi, Benzi, and Ed, who are basically like the Three Stooges, but in hyena form. Now the voice cast is also spot on great too. I was able to recognize some of them. Like Jim Cummings does the voice of Ed the hyena, mainly his laugh. Rowan Atkinson does the voice of Zazu. Though Rowan Atkinson's name might seem familiar to you guys because he's best known as Mr. Bean from, Mr. Bean of the same name. In fact, I do have a VHS copy of Mr. Bean the movie right here. And I know that Rowan Atkinson was also in the first live-action Scooby-Doo movie, which is what I also reviewed before. And I know that Matthew Broderick does the voice of Simba as an adult. Now, I have covered one of his movies before, thanks to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for example. And I know that he was also in A Christmas Story Live. And he also played Inspector Gadget in the first Inspector Gadget movie, which I just so happen to have here on VHS. So that's like three famous actors that I seem to recognize in this movie. I almost forgot to mention Whoopi Goldberg, who also does the voice of Shenzi Hyena. For some reason, her name somehow slipped my mind. And guys, I am sort of aware that she is a little bit, controversial, if you know what I mean. If I was... Oh yeah, and who could forget some of the iconic songs in this movie, like The Circle of Life, Just Can't Wait to Be King, and Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. I'm sorry, I just can't resist singing that song. Okay, but I promise I'll stop singing that song because if I continue singing the entire song in general, this entire review would have gotten a copyright strike. So anyways, I think most people would be familiar with this movie thanks to the songs. Mainly Just Can't Wait to Be King and Hakuna Matata, which I assume those are still I think those are the most popular songs ever from this movie. Which again, if you guys have seen anything related to The Lion King, whether it's any of the movies, the video games, or even any of the TV shows based on some of the characters, like Timon and Pumbaa and the Lion Guard, I'm pretty sure you guys would have known about how popular Just Can't Wait to Be King and Hakuna Matata are. And who can forget the African settings of The Lion King? Now, I never actually been to Africa myself, and I don't know too many locals in Africa in general. But I gotta admit, the African jungle sure looks amazing, whether it's in real life or as a cartoon. Now again, I still never been to Africa, but I'm sure it might have been a nice place to visit once in a while. And I assume the filmmakers had to go to Africa themselves, or watched a lot of nature documentaries to get an idea of what Africa is like while working on The Lion King. Always do your research while working on a movie, whether it's live action or animated. And I assume that the filmmakers must have done like hours and hours and hours of research on Africa while working on this movie. And it might have been kind of stressful for the filmmakers while working on The Lion King. But hey, I bet it must have been worth it, you know? And it's good to just do some research on certain while working on certain movies. And I really like Timon and Pumbaa. Sure, maybe you guys are not like big fans of them, but whenever they're on screen together, I always get a little bit of a laugh out of them. No matter what crazy situations they'll get themselves into. And as like I said before, the Timon and Pumbaa even had their own spin-off TV show at some point. Well, in fact, I think I have a VHS copy of Timon and Pumbaa right here. Yeah, see? Yeah, who would have thought that Timon and Pumbaa will end up getting their own spin-off show? Didn't know they were that popular. And yes, the characters of The Lion King do make appearances in House of Mouse, and they were in Disney's Once Upon a Studio short film, which I even brought up before in my review of The Black Cauldron yesterday. And if you guys ever want to visit either the Disney theme parks in California and Florida, check out Mickey's PhilharMagic, because it also includes the Just Can't Wait to Be King song. Trust me, I went on that attraction before with my parents like almost nine years ago, and it was so amazing. It's like we're entering different Disney songs while Donald's trying to get Mickey's magic hat. And yes, I do know that it got an update recently by adding a new song to the attraction, which was what was it? I forgot what it was, but it was a song from a Disney and Pixar film called Coco. A l'amore. I hope I'm saying that right. But I'm getting off topic here. I'm sorry. I think I'm getting sidetracked here. The Lion King is still a fantastic movie. So I'll give this movie 5 lion heads out of 5, since that's how great this movie is. Sorry about that. So thank you so much for checking out this review of The Lion King. And don't forget, since I'll be watching all 3 of these Lion King movies in a row and reviewing them, I'll also be watching and reviewing The Lion King 1.5, another movie that I haven't seen in a long time. So stay tuned for that.